Hey everyone, it's Greg and welcome back to another Dice Throne Talk. As you can see, today we are going to talk about the Pyromancer. We are continuing our complexity upgrading here as we go through Season 1. And Pyromancer is going to be a complexity level 3. Playstyle as a classic glass cannon. Even your defense is another offense. The long game is not your friend. Scorch the earth quickly or die trying. And I would have to say that's a very accurate description of the Pyromancer. Her defense is no mitigating of any incoming damage that's coming in. It's all dealing damage back. So it's just dealing more damage back to the opponent. So there's a lot of times maybe where someone's going to try to knock you out, but at the same time, you'll have a good possibility of knocking them out too if they have low enough health. What we're going to do as similar things, we're going to roll dice about 10 times, give or take, and see what kind of rolls and what kind of attacks we can make when we have no cards in our hand, we have no CP, and how easy or how difficult it is to roll for something. As we up the complexity level here a little bit, CP has become more and more important, and those cards and dice modifiers are more important as well. For the first probably 3 rolls here, we're going to try to go for the Burning Souls. And the reason why we're going to go for the Burning Souls is because on your ideally first turn, what you want to do is you want to get Burning Soul to gain your Fire Masteries and max that out. Your Fire Mastery stack limit is at 5. A player with this token must cool off during their upkeep phase, meaning removing 1 Fire Mastery token. And having Fire Mastery tokens can help deal more damage, such as deal collateral damage to all opponents for each Fiery Soul they rolled, gain 2 Fire Masteries here, remove up to 4 Mastery tokens and deal 3 undefendable damage per token. I'm dealing more over here, dealing 4 damage plus 2 damage per Fire Mastery. So you want to have your Fire Mastery up and going, and you want to stay hot as soon as possible and as much as possible. So let's go ahead and get going here. Another thing that's awesome about the Pyromancer that I really enjoy too is that she does have this stun ability, meaning that she can attack someone again if she's able to place a stun on the opponent. So we'll go ahead and start rolling. And we do have a 3, 4, 6, 4, 1. So no fiery souls right here, which is kind of an issue. We could stick with the 3, 4. Roll these 3 and see what we can get. We also are close to Combustion, so we could keep the 6 as well. And if we roll a Fiery Soul, we can get Combustion as well. So let's roll these 2 and see what happens. And we're also available for Pyroblast as well if you roll a couple flames. So we did roll a couple flames, and that's on our second roll. So it's probably a good idea to stop right there for us and not try to force the issue and go for that. Her dice makeup is 3 flames for 1, 2, and 3, a blaze for 4, Fiery Soul for 5, and Meteor for 6. So it's definitely a little bit harder to get the symbols that you wanted to get because there's more symbols out there. So we have a Pyroblast for the first one. And then what it would do here is deal 6 damage and roll a die. Let's just see what we would roll. It is a 4, so we would inflict burn on that, which is awesome. Each upkeep phase is dealt 2 damage to the opponent, and that is persistent. All right, so we'll keep on going here. Still trying to go for that Burning Soul. So we did get 1 right there. 4, 4, 4, 2. Let's just go ahead and roll for another Burning Soul. We did get it. We also got a 4, 5, 6. if we were going to chase, we can try to chase the 3 with the 4 and also try to chase the 5 as well. Let's just see what happens here. And it's a 6. What we got was Burning Soul. So we would gain 2 Fire Masteries, which are these awesome tokens here. And then deal 1 collateral damage to all opponents per each of these, not the Fire Mastery tokens. It's going to be the Fiery Souls. Okay, so if we rolled 5 of these, it would be 5 collateral damage. So that's our second roll. So now we have our Burning Soul. We would cool off. We're rolling a lot of 4s apparently, but we did get a 3, 4, 5, which is awesome. And gets us ready for a straight. 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll try out one more time. All right, so we did get a hot streak. Gain 2 Fire Masteries. Deal 5 damage, +1 for each Fire Mastery token, so that would be 8 overall. So cool off again here. Remember, our stack limit is 5. So 2, 3, 6. We do have Pyroblast as well. And we also have Burning Soul. And I do realize we rolled 2, so we get 2 times that. So we should have had 4. So I apologize for that. So we definitely, if we had 4 Fire Masteries here, we probably wouldn't go for the Burning Soul because we wouldn't really be gaining any extras. So we'd probably just go for the Pyroblast here on our first roll right there. So we'd roll 1 die. And it's a 1, so add 3 damage. That would be 9 damage, which is pretty good hit overall. Alrighty, so boom. That goes away. We'll count another one. We got a whole bunch of blazes right now. 4, 5, 1. I'm almost tempted to keep the 4 and the 5 and roll these 3. The reason why is because we don't need a whole lot of blazes. We only really need 1. We're trying to get either a 6 as well, and then our likelihood of rolling another flame is pretty high. If we roll another 5, we'll get another Fire Mastery, deal collateral damage as well. Let's see what happens here. Oh, awesome. That's exactly what we're looking for. So we have a couple different options here. We can go for Fire Mastery, which would max us out, which we would probably do. We do have another roll for the large straight. We don't get it. So we get 2. And then deal 5 damage per 1 extra, so 10 damage overall. So you can see how she does hit pretty hard overall. And 1 would go away. Alrighty, 2, 2, 1, 1, 4. So we do have a lot of fireballs right there and a blaze. And the question is, do you stick with the fireballs? I'd probably stick with the fireballs right here. You have 4 right there. You're looking for a 5th one. Got the 5th one right there. We get our Fire Mastery back that we cooled off with, and you can still deal 8 damage. Alrighty, so go again here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see if we can get a 5. We got a 6. So I would definitely keep this. The reason why is because if your opponent wants to mess with you or whatnot, they may mess with the 3, they may mess with the 6, what have you. But you have Pyroblast, and then you have the Hot Streak as well. And depending on whether or not you want to get more damage on or the ability to burn again, maybe knockdown if you roll a 6, Otherwise, we would be dealing 10 damage as well. It's kind of your gamble. So if we were going to stick with Pyroblast, let's just see what we would roll here. A 2, so 9 damage. We also lost 1 damage dealt because that's only a 9 and that's a 10. Now, if you had maybe a So Wild and you're like, well, I really want to try to burn them. Boom, right there. Or, hey, I'm going to try to knock them down because they don't have a lot of CP and they don't have a lot of cards in their hand. So if you want to go for the status effects, maybe you have the So Wild, Tippet, samesies, or not samesies, but something else, you may want to do that. So, alrighty. And we'll get into the cards here as well and see how that goes. Alrighty. 1, 2. So you do have Pyroblast again. And honestly, stick with what's working. Stick with what the dice are giving with you. So we'd roll again here. A 6. We knocked them down. Alrighty. Ooh, so you have 2 6s right off the bat, 2 3s, and a 5. If you have So Wild, samesies, dice modifiers to help you out. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me. Been needing to get that out of my system. If you have any dice modifiers, it may be worth going for the 6s. Let's say we'll go for the 6s. But we didn't, but we lucked out and got 3, 4, 5, 6 instead. And we're gonna roll one more. And it's a 4. Now let's say I don't want to do that right now. I don't want to do that. Maybe I have Combustion. Combustion. Gain 1 Fire Mastery. Activate Combustion. Remove up to 4 Fire Mastery tokens. Deal 3 undefendable per token. So you can get rid of all 4 and deal 12 undefendable. So if you have someone maybe like the Barbarian, someone that doesn't like taking a lot of undefendable damage, that, you know, they don't have evasive, so the monk would not be a good one if they have evasives on them. Flight, what have you. If they don't have abilities to really get away from that evasive ability, that might be a great one to have. So we'll go ahead and do that one. All right there. And so we would gain and then lose it. 6. So we did get Pyroblast yet again. Boom, right there. We'll roll. And it's a 3, so 9 damage overall. So as you can see, probably Pyroblast is going to be your bread and butter. If you're getting your straights, you're probably also getting Combustion as well, based on 3, 4, 5, 6. So keep that in mind. Just because you have your straight, remember that's also a possibility as well. If you're rolling 2, maybe you roll 2, maybe 3 6s, you have some modifiers in your hand. Maybe you want to go for that big one. Maybe, let's see if we can roll it here. Just to... Whoops. Oh, way off the table there. See, nothing right there, but still able to get Fireball. And Fireball is not awful, especially if you can max out with it. 8 damage, you get a Fire Mastery, so at least you're gaining what you cooled off with. If you can always go plus what you cooled off with, that's always the ideal thing to do. Scorch the Earth, inflict knockdown and burn, gain 3 Fire Masteries, deal 12 damage. Additionally, deal 2 collateral damage to all opponents. So you're dealing a whole lot of damage right there. Pretty awesome overall. With the stun, that is with this mini ultimate right there. Gain stun or inflict stun, 2 Fire Masteries. Really good overall for just a mini of that, obviously. So defensively, let's see how we can do defensively with your rolls. So you deal 2 damage right there. I know that 3 is a little weird. That's just how it came with. And I just never got it fixed. I think it's unique by itself. So Deal 2 damage right there. Of course, now I'm rolling all the 6s. 2 more damage right there. No fire masteries yet. So keep that in mind. No fire masteries. 3 damage and a fire mastery right there. 1, 2, and a couple more fire masteries there. So that's 6, 9 damage in 3 rolls and about 3 fire masteries for 4 rolls. And a couple more damage and a fire mastery. So you could probably assume that you can average about 2 hits on your defensive roll and maybe 1 fire mastery just to get you up above that cooldown if you are below that. Card-wise, let's get to her cards a little bit here. You do have Infernal Fusion. That's her promo card. Roll a die on 6, gain max fire mastery. Any other card, draw any outcome, draw a card. This would be a good play 1 for you right here. Turn 1, if you can roll that 6. It actually was a 6, if you believe it or not. Other than that, it's just 0 CP, draw a card. I would play that when you do not have any fire mastery, or if you have 1 fire mastery. That's when I would play this card. Otherwise, you're kind of wasting the ability of it. Or if, let's say you have this in a 6-it. That way you're guaranteeing that 6. That's when I would kind of play that a little bit. You have your warm-up, gain a fire mastery, then spend as many CP as desired and gain 1 additional fire mastery for each CP spent. It is 0 CP, however, that is a very costly card at the same time. It may be able to give you 1 fire mastery for free because you can then spend as many CP as desired. So you may want to spend 0 CP and get no fire mastery other than the 1. But CP is kind of hard to come by with Pyromancer. So you want to be able to use what you can, a couple of the more expensive cards, defensive upgrades, what have you. I'm not sure if I would really do that too much because her board allows her to get the fire masteries. Huzzah! Roll action phase, play only after attacking an opponent. Roll a die. Let's just see what happens. It's actually another 6, believe it or not. And inflict knockdown. Just additional damage to it, so it's pretty much a Pyroblast just as a CP instead. Literally just a Pyroblast. So if you want to, let's say it's like, well, I have this, but I want to go for something else, or I have a small straight, but I'm trying to get something else to it. Huzzah might be the way to go if you have that CP. Red Hot, add damage per fire mastery. So you probably don't want to do it on Combustion because you're going to be removing those fire masteries. But let's say you have this, or Meteorite, or Burning Soul, what have you. Or one of your straights. That would be a pretty one to add as well. And then you have your Fire Up 3 CP. Increase Fire Mastery stack limit by 1, so it'd be at 6. Then gain 2 Fire Mastery. It's a pretty expensive card, but if you're able to increase that Fire Mastery a little bit, make your Combustion even better, that's awesome, because Combustion's upgrade is actually pretty good too. It is 2 CP, gain Fire Mastery, that hasn't changed, and remove up to 4, hasn't changed either, but then dealing 4 undefendable damage per token. Well, Greg, that's only 1 additional damage. I'm not sure what the big upgrade in that is. Well, it's up to 4. So if you do that for each token, that's 4 additional damage. And then if you do that twice, let's say you pull this out the first couple turns. You're able to sell some cards, get some CP, play these couple right here. You're increasing your Fire Mastery a lot, the max by 1, so you're at 6. And then dealing this a couple times, you're attacking this a couple times, you are compounding the amount of damage being dealt to someone and at an undefendable damage as well. So if you're able to do Burning Soul, Combustion, and gaining all of that Fire Mastery and then spending all the way all of this undefendable damage, and then you're also doing your defensive roll and dealing some more damage, you are just doing a whole lot of damage, and there's not a whole lot that a defensive player can make, such as Moon Elf. Moon Elf wants to roll her defensive dice, but you're taking that out of the picture completely with this. And then you're forcing them to roll a 1 or a 2 on evasives if they can keep up the evasives. So keep that in mind. I do like that combo quite a bit. Her other upgrades, you have Fireball 2. It's only 1 CP, but I'm not sure. I think I would sell this card just because you're only gaining a second Fire Mastery. And as we talked about, there's different ways to do that. Pyroblast 2. And then you have Pyroblast 3. I would actually, if I had a choice, sell the 3, use the 2. The reason why is because you're able to roll 2 dice instead of 1, and then adding the same amount of abilities, but you are gaining 2 times Fiery Soul on this rather than on that gaining 2 Fire Mastery. And then 3, you can re-roll the die. Well, that sounds good, but at the same time, you're leaving it the chance for that extra CP to do something else. Because if you roll a flame and you're like, well, I want something else, and you roll it, well, you get another flame, well, okay, you're not really adding any other damage, additional damage between the 2 and the 3 on that. So I like the 2 better than 3. Yeah, Burning Soul. This is fantastic. On 3 Fiery Souls, inflict burn, which you want to do. You want to roll a lot of Fiery Souls. On 4 of those, increase Fire Mastery stack limit by 1. Also awesome. Gain 2 times each Fiery Soul, and then deal 1 collateral. This is a fantastic upgrade in my opinion for just 1 CP. You have Hot Streak, Small Straights, and Inflict Burns. You'll see on this board there's not too many icons that want the burns. You have this one right here, and that's it. Otherwise, you have your small straights over here. So if you're finding that you're rolling a lot of 4s, or you're just making sure that if you roll 4s, you have something, you can still do that. And it's only 1 CP as well. It's not a horrible thing to do. And then on your small straights, deal 2 Fire Mastery, you're upping the damage by 1. I think it's worth it personally for that additional ability. A large straight, same deal. Increasing blazing your ignite, and then blazing soul as well. This is, I think, a good one as well. And you're also inflicting burn, which is a great status effect to inflict on other people consistently. So I like that a lot. And then Meteorite, as per usual, a lot of times you want to upgrade these ones, and this one's kind of no different. You're dealing 3 collateral damage to each opponent instead of 2. You're gaining 3 Fire Masteries, and then you also have that 3 as well. So you roll 2 6s on the first time, and you have this out. Don't be afraid to re-roll those other 3 dice, because you may pop that 3rd 6. For your defensive cards, you have your 1 CP Molten Armor 2, deal damage per each flame, gain Fire Masteries, and inflicting burn. And then on your 3, you're also dealing damage based on your Meteor and based on Fire Masteries too. Honestly, once again, I'm trying to save CP. I'm going with the 1 rather than the 3 if I had the choice. Just because this is 1 CP to be able to inflict burn on people, and I'm still doing what I want to do, dealing damage and gaining Fire Masteries. Yes, if I roll 6s, it's a whiff on the 6s, but I'm saving that 2 CP for maybe a So Wild, for maybe a Transference, what status effects, what have you. For the rolling cards, Better D, I'm not sure if I'd really have this one or not. Yes, it's 0 CP. But the idea is that you're a glass cannon and that defensive is not really your thing. You're all offensive. So even if you don't roll great, it's not like you're trying to get anything else. So I would probably sell the better D in my opinion. Samesies is always good to have for maybe your Pyroblast, your Meteorite. It's kind of the only two in your Scorch the Earth ability. So just keep in mind that the Samesies is only good for a couple, or Burning Soul, which would be a great one to have for. Try again, maybe good to use, maybe. If you're trying to get something specific like the Burning Souls, but once again, that CP may be used for something else. Not this time. Definitely a must-have because you have no way to really mitigate damage. This is a great one to have. Do keep this one in your hand and use it when needed. One more time, reroll up to 5 dice during your offensive roll phase. Yeah, I'll keep this one for CP in case I end up whiffing and I need to try to get something. It's definitely good to have. 6-hit, definitely want to use for your different 6 abilities. Helping Hand, always good to have to try to keep someone from rolling their ultimate or mini ultimate. And your Soul Wilds and Twice as Wilds. As you saw, I did not whiff on any of those rolls. So keep that in mind when you're doing your offensive rolls. You may want to use these for your ultimate. I wouldn't even say your mini ultimate. I want to save it for your ultimate, or to keep someone else from rolling their ultimate, or maybe their big heavy attack, what have you. Keep the Shadow Thief from rolling the big large straights, gaining all that CP and dealing that as damage. You may want to do that as well to just keep people from attacking and making them whiff. The reason why is because this is kind of her defense, is that to mitigate damage, you may have to modify the opponent's dice so that you're not being dealt damage. So keep that in mind. You may want to save these for a defensive thing rather than an offensive, because her board is offensive. Other than that, you have your status effect, main phase cards. Always good to have. These two, obviously, Vegas Baby and Get That Out of Here, always good to have. If you're saving your CP, you're spending those different upgrades to save for these ones. If you're playing a status effect heavy board or opponent like Moon Elf, maybe the Cursed Pirate, what have you, may want to save these to put those negative status effects on them. And then you also have your instant actions as well, which are also very good to have. I would probably keep the bye-bye over the transference, but maybe if it's something, a persistent effect, I may want to do the transference over the bye-bye. So, but that's really all I have for the Pyromancer. She's a really fun character to play. I like playing her a lot. I like playing her in like a King of the Hill, multiple people playing, multiple opponents. The reason why is because of her Combustion, because of her Burning Soul, because of her Meteorite, dealing collateral damage, meaning that she is inflicting damage to multiple opponents. And she's just going to hit people hard, and a lot of people hard. And people aren't going to really want to attack her sometimes, maybe because they know that they're just going to get attacked back. Maybe up to 5, maybe up to 0, or they're going to let her get her Fire Masteries back. She's a fun one to play when you're having like a King of the Hill 1v mini type match. And then also she holds her own, obviously, for the one-on-ones. Knockdown is not a big thing for her to get. That's not really a key thing for her. Fire Masteries and Burns, I would say, are the two big ones for her. Followed by Stun, followed by Knockdown, honestly. Because if you're able to stun and hit someone consistently for, let's say, 20 damage that round, you're going to be hard to lose that game if you're dealing someone 20 damage in one round. So that is what I have for the Pyromancer. Hope you enjoyed. She is actually in the winner's bracket for our tournament. She's going to be going up against the Paladin. So you have a heavy offense with a heavy defense. It's going to be very interesting with her dealing a lot of offense abilities and the Paladin using his Protect and Retribution and dealing some of that damage back. So it'll be interesting to see, and stay tuned to when that happens. Thanks for coming and watching, and we'll see you next time.